Welcome to Nugg Talk.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nugg Talk, a weekly, whenever I want to do it podcast, where we talk about the Nuggets and everything going on in the NBA. I am your host. I'm here with my co-host, Phil. The season's upon us. Preseason.
So fast.
Yeah, because they gave them no break. Jamal Murray apparently is not very happy about it, but, you know, it is what it is. A lot of players are not happy about the quick turnaround. But it's back. Preseason starts tonight as we're recording. Nuggets play tomorrow. And the season is in, 11 days. So, crazy.
It came up so fast. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, we got a lot of things to talk about. A lot of things going on. Everyone went back to training camp. A lot of stories around the NBA. A lot of stuff that's going on with our team with the new roster. And then we'll get into talking about our expectations for at least the main players that we think are going to play. There's a couple that we just don't know yet based on the roster. And then we'll talk about the preseason games. But to start off, the biggest news probably from this week is that PG got a 5-year, 225 or 26, 260 million, 225 million deal.
Something really big.
He got the max extension for the Clippers. He signed it the other day. What are your thoughts on it? Because that's a crazy deal.
Oh my God. He is the highest. So per year, he's the highest paid player in the league. He just beat out James Harden for the most money per year. It's been well documented how we feel about Paul George at this point, I feel.
Yeah. I mean, but what do you think about the move?
I think they're idiots. I don't think it's gonna work out for them. I mean, Paul George is a good player. I'm not gonna say he's not a good player.
Yeah.
He'll make an all-star team and but he's not going to help you in the playoffs. You better hope Kawhi goes Super Saiyan if you want to win a championship. Because I do not think, and I will not until he proves me wrong, Paul George is not it when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah.
He might be like the worst playoff star of like in recent
There's
memory.
A lot of them. So it's not just him. There's a lot of people, James Harden included.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I was just shocked by it. Obviously, I'm not shocked that they didn't sign Kawhi first because that's probably a Kawhi decision. And Kawhi's giving himself the flexibility to see what happens after this year and then see where he goes. But it seems like he wants to stay in LA, so he'll probably stay with the Clippers. But again, who knows what happens after the season. So I think it was more of a desperation move from the Clippers. They probably know they're not going to get Giannis. So they just immediately were like, okay, we're not going to get Giannis in free agency. There's no other free agents that are going to really come here. They probably talked to Kawhi. Kawhi said, I'm not going to sign the extension just yet. So they were like, okay, well, just in case.
Let's make sure we have someone.
Let's make sure we didn't waste trading 5 picks or whatever the fuck they traded away for Paul George. Let's sign him. He's telling us, because apparently Paul George is telling everyone, I'm back with my old trainer when I was with OKC and I was in running for MVP. I'm going to make sure I do my best to get them a championship. He's saying like all the right things, except for taking blame for losing.
Yeah.
He still has not done that. He keeps saying we're the worst team. We won, so I don't care. How does that make you look?
I'll be looking forward to another playoff series because I feel confident in that matchup.
I mean, it's such a stupid comment that a lot of them are saying. It's like, that makes you look worse. Saying you're the worst team and you lost the worst team makes you look worse. If anything, if you said we were the better team, at least it makes you look respectable and, good, but it just makes them look worse. So, like, if you're a Nuggets fan, don't take too much into that. It just makes them look worse. But yeah, I think it was more of a desperation move. The biggest issue with it, though, is it's not a tradable contract. They're stuck to him now for 5 years.
He's not going anywhere. No, by the time they would want to trade him, he's going to be he's already 31 or something, right? So he's going to be pretty old.
He's in his 30s, I think, or near 30s.
Okay, I'll look up his age real quick. But like, he's going to be older in like 3 years, obviously. Yeah. And so when they get time to like maybe wanting to trade him, he's going to be well not worth that contract. And as I've made it known, I don't think he's worth that contract today. So
yeah, I think it's just a weird contract.
He's 30.
Okay, so he's
30. 31 in May.
Yeah, so it just seems like a desperation move, especially because like at the end of that contract, you're going to be paying a 35-year-old like 40 plus $50+ million.
Yeah, he's like 44 million.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, and it's not an easy thing to trade. So they're stuck with him for the next 5 years. Hopefully for them it works out. They get one, but if Kawhi leaves this summer, that's bad.
They're going to be a bad team.
Yeah, so they really are putting it all on giving PG, I guess, this financial incentive to go out there and play well.
Where do you think Kawhi would go if he left?
I think he wants to be in LA or California, but I just don't know. I mean, it all depends. I don't think Kawhi's going to leave, but most free agents like that are like top tier, like those guys like Giannis, Kawhi, LeBron. Well, not LeBron this time because he had a reason for signing his extension to stay with the Lakers. He wants to basically get free agency set up for when his son has a possibility to be in the NBA.
Yeah.
But like those guys, usually they don't sign their extensions just because they have the flexibility to go wherever the hell they want. So they're not going to take that away. Like the money's going to be there no matter where they go, even if it's not the max, and they can make it up in other ways. PG's never going to get a contract like that ever again. I bet you he was shocked he got that.
Yeah,
so
this
that
is
was
his last big contract.
Yeah, so that was it made sense for him. Just take it.
Yeah.
You're not going to say no to that when someone gives you that type of money and you're not like a top 5 player. So it makes sense for him. Seems like a desperation move from the Clippers. I don't really get it, but hey, maybe it pans out for them. Lakers extended AD and LeBron though LeBron for the next 2 years after this year, and AD for the next 5 years, I think, after this year. So like, you're still competing with them. You're still competing with us. This doesn't move their needle, but I just feel like
this doesn't make them better. It's a lateral move, and in my opinion, it will eventually turn into a negative for them.
Yeah, it just seemed like a very desperate move, but we'll see what happens with it. Maybe it pans out for them. But then the next big news that's going on is no longer melodrama. This is probably the biggest drama for a player since melodrama or Dwight Howard's drama. It's Harden drama. Harden's not showing up. Well, he finally showed up to camp. Yeah. Now he's there.
He looked really unhappy about it.
Yeah, he looked unhappy. Same with PJ Tucker, because PJ Tucker wants an extension. They're not giving it to him. But Harden, for the first couple of days, was out and about in Las Vegas with Lil Baby, partying, enjoying Las Vegas, not following the protocols for COVID.
Not at all.
And it's basically assumed that he wants out of Houston. Everyone knows that he wants out of Houston. People are trying to get him. First off, what are your thoughts about the way he's going about pushing himself out? And then secondly, where do you think he'll ultimately end up?
I know James Harden is a great player, but like if I'm a GM, how on earth am I going to think, okay, this guy doesn't want to play for this team. He's forcing his way out. He's basically throwing a little bit of a tantrum. And he also doesn't really have the right in a way. He hasn't won anything. He's been to 2 Western Conference Finals as the James Harden that we know he is now. Obviously, he did well with the Thunder, but I don't count those years. Yeah, he was a 6-man. He made 2 Western Conference Finals, lost. In my opinion, he got carried by Chris Paul in one of them. And then when Chris Paul got hurt, that series changed. Mm-hmm. So I don't like it. I don't like James Harden. I didn't like James Harden before this. This is just the kind of personality I think is really bad for the league. And I feel like, and I'm hoping that a lot of teams are going to be like, no. And in a way, I'm hoping the Rockets are going to be like, no. I would just take the loss at this point and just make him stay for the next 3 years, unless you can get a good offer from someone like the Nets. It's the only team I think that could get him.
Yeah, I mean, they're not in any rush. They obviously have him on contract for this year and next year, so they're not in any rush. They're fielding offers. It seems like they're very hell-bent on making sure he goes to the East, which is good for us.
Yes.
But granted, the Warriors are still interested in trading for him. I've heard, before PG signed, I heard rumblings about the Clippers. I don't know about that anymore.
Yeah.
But it seems like the teams most likely to are the Sixers, the Nets. The Bucks apparently have some interest. The Heat have some interest. Those are the main 4, I would say. The Raptors are kind of in there. I'm sure the Celtics are kind of in there.
I saw some odds makers today that said the Nuggets had like a 1 in 1,000 chance of signing him or something.
Yeah, we don't want him. After what he's done, you don't want him. He's not going to play. If you're not going to play in Houston, he's not going to play here. Yeah, it's going to ruin the chemistry.
He'll just ruin the locker room and then he'll leave.
The ball needs to be in Jokic's hands, not Harden's hands. So it's not a good match. We already talked about that before, though. But there's been so many just conflicting rumors. The owner of the Rockets doesn't want to trade him to the Sixers because he doesn't like Daryl Morey, and Daryl Morey is now the president there. So it's like a petty thing that he doesn't want to trade him there. There's also rumors that they're not going to trade him to the Nets unless they get Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving. And that's like, I don't think the Nets will ever do that. They're not, and it wouldn't even work in my opinion. You need all three of them to make that work there.
Yeah, if you want to win a championship, well, I feel like KD and Kyrie will have a chance, but I don't think Harden and KD.
They're already the not title favorites. The finals favorite for the Eastern Conference of KD and Kyrie. If they get Harden, that becomes like title favorite most likely. But trading Kyrie for Harden, it is better, but I don't think it changes their chances against the Lakers.
Yeah,
Harden's what you need to be looking at right now.
Harden's better at better than Kyrie, but like from what you need to do, it's basically a lateral move.
Yeah, like it doesn't really change that much. So I don't think they would do that. So I'm sure that it's going to be neither of those teams. It seems like Philly, it could be if they eventually, who knows, maybe they offer Ben Simmons or something and something else to make it work. It just kind of depends on what Doc and Daryl Morey decide to do and if the Houston owner changes. But I wouldn't be shocked if it's some random East team that had no shot or wasn't even in the conversation out of nowhere gets him. But I don't think he'll get traded anytime soon. I don't know if he'll play games. I know that he's at practice, but apparently he can't practice with people because he has to get 6 straight COVID negative tests, which I'm sure he'll do. I don't think he has it, but so I just don't know what the plan is there. Seems like the coach is not on good terms with him, and he's not on good terms with the coach. That's one of the reasons he wants to leave. He wanted Ty Lue. They said no to Ty Lue, and they want Jeff Van Gundy or Stan Van Gundy, one of the two. And he said no to that, so they got Silas as like a middle ground thing. It's just like he's not happy about that. So who knows? It's a lot of drama. It's the most probably since Melo tried to force his way out of Denver. It's very similar in ways, even though Melo was less. At least Melo played for us, like while he was doing all that stuff. I don't know if he's going to play for the Rockets. It's just kind of weird. I don't know what he's going to do. He has a list of where he wants to go, but we'll see. It'll be a whole season thing for sure. I would say probably best bet is he goes to Philadelphia, but I wouldn't be shocked if he went to like the Celtics randomly or like just some random East team or like the Hawks or something like that. Somewhere just came out of nowhere and gets him. But it's most likely going to be an East team, which is good.
Yeah, I don't think a West team will get him unless like I don't think the Warriors would give up. Like if Warriors, I feel like would have to give up Wiggins and like James Wiseman.
Yeah, they would have to give up a lot.
I feel like that's not enough, too. Yeah, they'd have to give up Draymond, too.
It's just like, it's definitely, I mean, they already apparently reached out for James Harden during the draft, and they said no, so I'd feel like they're already done about doing that, but that's the only team that it'd be scary if James Harden to go there, because again, I've reiterated this before, I think that's the team that would shock us, like, he would change the way he plays, and it would shock the world, because he would actually, like, go into the system, play good ball, stuff like that. Because there's the players that he respects and teams he lost to before playing that style. But again, who knows where he goes? We'll see. It's going to be a whole thing all year.
We're never going to stop talking about it.
And then the next thing is ESPN did their annually. We don't know anything about the NBA list. Top 100.
That's so accurate.
So they did that. There was a lot of weird placements on there. Our guys were on there, though. We had Jokic breaking the top 10. He was number 10. We have Jamal at 21, behind Zion, though. Zion, who's only played half his year of basketball and hasn't even done anything or been to the playoffs or had 50 points or 40 points in consecutive playoff games.
Yeah.
And
played in a playoff game.
Or played one. And then we have MPJ at 51, which is probably the one where we're like, okay, that was kind of high.
Yeah, that's kind of high. I'm hoping by the end of this season it won't be. It will be low, actually.
Yeah, it just seemed kind of strange that they put him so high, but then you have guys below him like John Wall or DeMar DeRozan or like LaMarcus Aldridge, or like these all-stars.
It's just the same shit every time. It's just like all the hype. They're buying around the hype of MPJ and his talent, and then obviously we all know how they feel about Zion. Yeah. And so like they're just like trying. I hate it. I only looked at the top 10. I was so pissed at that shit.
It's very strange because it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, they obviously do it on purpose. They want views. They want people to talk about it. They want people to retweet, share it. That's how they get their money. But it just seems so weird that every year it's just so off. And it's a very "what have you done for me lately" kind of top 100 because last year Kevin Durant wasn't even on it. Now Kevin Durant's, I don't know, he was 5 or something on the list. It's like, why is he all of a sudden, just because he's back now, he's there? Shouldn't he be there anyways, even if he's hurt? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So it's always a bad list. But hey, at least they overrated at this point. Hopefully he's not overrated. MPJ at 51. Mm-hmm. I think they got Jamal pretty fair, except for the accurate Zion thing. And then I would say that Jokic is also pretty accurate. I'm glad that Jokic is just in the top 10. So that's good for me. That's all I really need. I think Jokic is the best center too on the list, so that's good. I could be wrong, but I think he is.
What, number 1 center?
Yeah, he's the best center, right?
If you don't count Anthony Davis.
Okay, yeah. So then he's the best center. So that's good. So they at least got that right. But yeah, that list is always wrong. It's never good.
I have so many opinions, but I don't really want to talk about it anymore. Even if we don't, unless you want to. Like,
I mean, if you want to, go ahead.
I just think I think Dame is too low. Curry's too low. I think Jokic is too low. Luka, I'm okay with.
Luka, I think is fine.
Kawhi, I'm okay with. KD, I think I'm okay with, but we'll see.
I think KD should be 2 always. I don't get why KD is.
I don't think AD is 2.
Yeah, like KD is 2.
AD
is going to show again why he's the second best player in the world.
AD is top 5. I'll give AD that.
Yeah.
He's top 5. But I do not think he's top 2.
Yeah, no, I think KD though is always underrated just because he had an injury that wasn't even his fault.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just like even like putting like MPJ above Zach LaVine and like Jamal Murray above.
I feel like Jamal's the most. Jokic's probably the most accurate one, but I feel like Jamal's still pretty accurate. Like for what he did recently, the main thing is
you could also make an argument that there are players ahead of him that he is better than.
Yeah, and the case for Jamal is probably like that's a very "what have you done for me lately" thing because he just had a very amazing playoff run, but can he sustain it? That's a big question. So that's the case you can make against him being at 21 because he hasn't been consistent ever before in a regular season. But this could be the year that changes. I mean, I would hope.
I would hope so too.
But yeah, the list is fucked, man. The list is just fucked. It's the bad one. But hey, it happens every year. It's always funny. It's always bad. It's gonna be bad again next year. I promise you that.
Oh yeah. Don't ever expect them to be good. So.
But now we'll get into the regular season. They announced half of the schedule. And I believe the reason they announced half of the schedule is because the season is very up in the air because it depends on how well teams do with the COVID protocols. Mm-hmm. As you've seen in the NFL or in many other sports, they have always postponed games, stretched games, just changed the schedule as much as they could to make things fit once outbreaks occur. I'm assuming outbreaks will occur during the regular season. I have no doubt about that. It's hard to do it without a bubble. And you got to trust a lot of these players, and a lot of these players, they're human. They make mistakes, and they're going to do some dumb stuff during this.
Yeah, some people will make mistakes, and as we've seen, there are also some people who just don't care, like James Harden.
Yeah, there's people who just don't care. So I'm sure that's why they only did half the season, depending on how many games they cancel or reschedule or stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They can decide the next half of the season, especially with a vaccine coming out. Don't want to get political, but with a vaccine coming out, that's something that they can figure out how they do the second half of the season. Just saying, but they did do that. The first 3 things about the first 3 months of our schedule are actually nice. We only have 3 back-to-backs, one each month.
I'm expecting like every other week to be a back-to-back in the second half of the season.
And January is very it's our toughest month. I think we play like the Warriors, we play the Bucks, we play the Heat, we play a lot of good teams in January. That's probably our toughest month. I think in February we played the Lakers twice, but I would still say January is the toughest month. The other big issue is it's just like the bubble. You're playing every other day. Yeah, for the most part. And there will be travel now because they're going to the stadium. So I feel like it'll be kind of an adjustment period for these guys to get kind of back into that.
Might be pretty exhausting.
Yeah, so they got to get back into that. So that's something of news, but I'm assuming that's why they did only the first half of the schedule, and they'll announce the second half later on. But yeah, I mean, it's good to at least know what we're doing, what we're playing. I think our opening game is the Kings, and then we play the Clippers on Christmas.
Yes.
So that'll be interesting. Kings game, we should win. Clippers game, I'm excited for it. Should be a fun game. Let's get the trash talking out of the way, and mainly trash talking from them because we haven't said anything.
No
about
one
them.
said anything.
We
and
have
they won't.
free real estate in their head, man.
We are rent free in the Clippers' heads.
Yeah. We got some free real estate
because Nuggets have not said a thing about it.
Yeah,
well, Jokic did a little bit.
Jokic was just saying, like, everyone keeps saying they won, and that's not directly talking to the Clippers. That's like the media too. The media keeps saying like the Clippers lost it, the Nuggets didn't win it, and that's why he's more upset. But it has less to do with
with what they've been saying.
Yeah, with what they've been saying. It wasn't like a direct shot at what they've been saying. They've been like directly just being like, no, they were the worst team. Which is like, hey man, LeBron doesn't think we were, so there you go. But yeah, so first half season come out. Other big news for us, Monte Morris re-signed, which shocked me.
Me too.
I genuinely think this guy is a starter in the league. But I think he said it. He loves the culture. He loves winning. He wants to stay because we, gave him a shot. And he signed a 3-year, $27 million deal. So he's getting $9 million a year. Super cheap, super nice. He's getting paid less than he should because I assume that eventually he's going to get bigger and bigger roles as he gets better. People might digress and stuff like that. But hey, it's great for him. Thank you, Monte.
I'm so happy about it. Like there will be times where like Monte can start some games for us too.
He's a huge backup for when Jamal gets hurt. I mean, he helped us the last half of the season before COVID. But no, that's huge. I really thought we were going to trade him. Now we don't have to. But I did mention to Phil off, Mike, that we were. It's a very tradable deal too. Like if it came down to next year or 2 years, or 3 years from now, where there's a star player that we would want to get, that's a very favorable deal to trade for a star player. It's a very easy trade piece to include, especially with how good Monte is. So it's beneficial on 2 sides. It's a cheap deal. 3 sides, I should say. It's a cheap deal. It's easy to trade. And we love Monte, and we can't believe he's back. Yeah. He's here for this year and 3 years after.
Love Monte. I love everything about that move. I hope we don't trade him, to be honest.
I know the Argentinians are upset. And we love Facu.
We love Facu.
But we need Monte right now. We don't know what Facu
I understand the love for Facu, but don't expect him to be anything but the 3rd string point guard.
Just don't say fuck you to Monte Morris.
Yeah, don't be mean to him. I mean, they go crazy on I've seen a lot of like Argentinian fans like go crazy on the Nuggets Instagram.
It's fine. We accept you into the Nuggets fan base,
Nuggets.
But you have to understand that Monte Morris was one of the first people to reach out to Facu.
Yeah, they're probably have a great relationship, and we're Nuggets fans first, so I'll tell it how it is.
Yeah, so he's gonna hopefully get some time, but we'll see how kind of the rotations play out.
I like what he can do with Jokic. I feel there's some potential there.
Yeah, and apparently he's a very gritty defender, which is always welcomed on this team. So I like it. But now we'll talk about what we would like to see from this upcoming season. Granted, it's only going to be half a season for right now, but then eventually the rest of this way. We'll just talk about our expectations, what we'd like to see for some players. We'll start off with Jamal, since he's the point guard, and he's definitely starting. According to Malone, the only confirmed starters are Jamal and Jokic, which is the first time ever that he's included Jamal in that. So that's good for Jamal. He's not even in the competition anymore.
Not even
air quote competition.
Yeah, he was never going to lose it.
Yeah, but he always kept it open. So the other positions are open, but we'll go with Jamal coming off of a great playoff run. What do you expect from him this year?
Like, do you want stats or do you want like...
Either way, stats, what you expect, what you like to see.
So I don't think Jamal Murray is going to be an all-star this season, but I don't think it's going to be because of him. I think it's because of the West. It's too stacked at guard. It's just going to... the deck is stacked against him. That being said, if the Nuggets were in the East, he would be an all-star this year. I'm gonna say he's going to average around like 21, 22 points per game, and I'm hoping it will be pretty efficient. I think it is impossible for me to expect less of him from what I saw he can do from the bubble. I know it's different, no fans, different stadiums, everything, but still.
I agree. I think Jamal, he obviously can make an all-star case this year. He even still could make an MIP case, but it's less likely now because I feel like people know what he can do.
Yeah, they saw it already.
But he could do it if he had like a huge stat jump. But I just don't think he will because it's not like Jamal was having bad stats last year. He was still a good scorer. He just wasn't what we expected until we got into the playoffs. But I think primarily a lot of that has to do with just his mindset has changed. People around him have changed. And
he's gotten better. I think he really he's matured too, for sure.
Yeah, he's gotten better. And we also know that Jamal just loves the big moments.
Yeah,
and that's one thing of me that I would want to see be changed. I still love that he loves the big moments, but love every moment.
Yeah.
Show up for the small games.
We can't afford to lose to the Kings on opening night.
Can't lose to the Pelicans on Christmas.
Yeah.
Things like that happened last year. We need you to be willing to play every game, excited to play every game, not just big matchups against other point guards or big matchups against good teams in the West. We need you to show up for every single game and have that consistency.
72 games. I want to see you at least. You don't have to be perfect, obviously, but
but just have the energy always.
Have that energy, have that killer instinct. You got a little black mamba in you.
Yeah,
so.
It's just I don't want to see that lack of energy because there was times you would see Jamal come in the game and you'd be like, "What's wrong with Jamal today?
Yeah, exactly.
Why is he not into it?"
Exactly.
And I get it. It's a long season. It's tenuous. It's stuff. But if you want to be one of the best players in the league, you got to show up for every single one.
All the best players show up.
Yeah, and stats wise, like Phil said, we want him to finally be in a mid 20 points per game range. I'm hoping for around 22 to 25 points per game.
Yeah, that range is perfect. 25 would be great. If
it's somewhere in an efficient style, it's good. If it's like kind of off, it's fine. As long as he's still getting those 22 to 25 points. I'm assuming he's going to get a lot more shots now because Jeremy's gone. It's going to be kind of spread around him and MPJ. I'm assuming those shots are going to go to those two. Jokic always gets his shots, and he just does whatever he wants. We're not going to worry about Jokic.
We don't have to worry about Jokic.
Yeah, so he'll just do whatever he wants. But yeah, I assume Jamal's going to have a great season. But again, I think it's just more a demeanor thing at this point.
Seeing how he meshes with MPJ will be interesting too.
Yeah, I mean, they have a great relationship.
Yeah, I think I think it'll be fine.
They have a lot in common from their first years in the playoffs. Jamal was basically scored on out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't defend. And the same thing kind of goes for MPJ. There was a lot of times we had to take MPJ out because he couldn't play defense. So I think they share a lot. They're both bucket getters. So they're both guys who have stuff to prove after their first playoffs. And I think Jamal's a good mentor to teach him, like, hey, this is the stuff you got to work on if you want to play in those big moments.
When Jeremy Grant left, MPJ just got so many more shots too. So.
Yeah, and you complained about getting shots. So there you go.
Yeah, now you're getting what you want. So
yeah. So we have the same ideas basically for Jamal, but I think it just comes down to a demeanor thing. But we don't expect Jamal to have any regression. We think he's going to be consistent.
I'm not expecting him to average 40 like he did in the playoffs.
No, but I would like a 40-point game here or there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I want you to. What we've talked about it on this before. I want to see you score like 40, 45 in a game, and we all be like, "Oh, wow, that's awesome!" Then come back and score 22, not 12.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to see it just be back and forth, and that's how your average ends up being around the 20.
It's not like he can't have like one off day or two off.
Yeah, I'm not expecting perfection.
But I'm just like more consistency is always the biggest issue with Jamal.
Yeah.
He had a lot of consistency in the playoffs,
and it'll be very easy to tell just how consistent he is this season. Like we'll see. I'm hoping we'll see like a different Jamal Murray.
I think the biggest thing with Jamal is that he's probably upset is still hearing that he's not a consistent player.
Yeah.
And he's upset that people think that he's not going to
live
up to what he did.
A lot of people think the bubble was a fluke.
Yeah,
so.
And a lot of people still think his contract's too much. So I think Jamal takes that all and he uses it as fuel and motivation. So I'm not worried about him.
Me either.
But then we'll get to the next person who I'm kind of worried about. Gary Harris. Very injury-riddled past season. A lot of up and down. But again, we don't win a lot of the playoff series without Gary Harris. He was huge. What do you expect from Gary Harris, knowing that he has looked, it's apparently according to reporters, his shot looks good. That's all I'm saying.
So I was talking to one of our friends off recording, obviously, and I said my dream would be get an efficient 14 from number 14. I don't think he's going to score 14 points per game.
Yeah, that's going to be hard.
But if he can score, honestly, somewhere in the 9, 10, 11, 12 range efficiently and bring the defense that I know he's going to bring, then that's fine with me. That will be a successful season from Gary Harris. Contract's too big, but I'll be fine with him being on the team still.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would prefer more like 10, 11, 12, not 9.
I mean, yeah, I feel like he's definitely can't be 14 because that would have to be like probably MPJ-ish. Unless we're actually do what Malone says, because Malone wants us to score 130 points a game.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Probably not.
But, I mean, he wants us to shoot more threes. He's been very vocal about that throughout the whole team. Malone's very much saying he wants us to be one of the top 3-point shooting teams, one of the top offensive teams. So it's possible Gary could be up there, but we'll see. It depends on kind of how the offense meshes.
I just want him to be like noticeably like healthy, noticeably like bounced back. I want his shot to look like I want to trust when Gary Harris shoots a three.
Yeah, and that was going to be my thing. My goal for him is just please stay healthy. Please just have a healthy season. Don't get hurt. Just please don't get hurt.
That would be really sad.
That's number one of what I want. Number two is, if you Nuggets fans remember, at the beginning of last season, Gary was a top 10 defender in the league by far. He was getting a lot of articles written about him that he's going to make an all-defense team. Mm-hmm. A lot of the team thought he should be first team all-defense.
I think he was in that conversation before he got hurt.
Then he got hurt. My thing is, Gary, do your best to make the All-NBA second defensive team. Mm-hmm. Do your best. I think he can do it. I think he has it in him.
Gary Harris, in my opinion, in the first round of the playoffs was one of the best first round and second round. Like when he came back against Donovan Mitchell, I thought he looked like one of the best defenders in the league.
Yeah, I think he can do it. I think he has it in him. I think when he's healthy, he's one of the best defenders in this league. He's just never healthy. Yeah. But if he stays healthy the whole year, I genuinely think he can make an All-NBA defensive team. Probably not the first team, but the second team for sure. And that's my goal for him. If you make it all defensive team, your money's worth it.
Yeah, honestly, that's fine. If you are that good at defense this year, then I'm fine. I don't really care what numbers you put up. And something else is just like Gary's value on the court is just like
it's understated.
It's understated. Even on offense, he is probably.
It's not like he's useless.
He's not useless. That's what I was about to say. I think he's probably the best cutter on the team.
Yeah.
And that's money for Jokic. Yeah. So. I think I want Gary Harris to be healthy. I want him to start all 72 games.
Yeah. I think Gary is a lock to start. Obviously, Malone didn't say that. Yeah. He's apparently battling it for Will Barton, but he's a lock to start.
I feel like you cannot start Michael Porter Jr. and not start Gary Harris.
Yeah. That's a huge part of it. I don't think you could do that. It's very unlikely. But my main thing is, Gary, just please stay healthy and then just play defense to the capability you can. If you fix your shot, great. If you fix your finishing, even better.
Yeah, all you really need is for you to finish, and at least don't be like abysmal from 3-point. But I'm not expecting 40.
Yeah, like it's not going to be like it used to be. I don't think he'll get back to that unless he really fixed his shot during the summer or something. Yeah. But it's a quick turnaround to do that. So
it's true.
I don't know if he could have done that in that time. But Gary, we just need that defense.
We believe in you, though.
Yeah. The next person we'll just not do MPJ. We'll do MPJ after this. We'll just get Paul out the way because Paul's just kind of back. Again, thank you for coming back.
Thank you for coming back. We need your leadership. We needed you. I love you, Paul Millsap, but I hope this is the last season you're a Nugget.
I mean, it probably is. It's a 1 year.
I think he's gonna retire when he after this because he's gonna be 35. He'll be close.
He can still get a bag, so I don't think he'll retire. Yeah, that's true.
He did also say that he feels really good for his age.
I'm assuming he probably went on like a vegan diet or something.
So Paul Millsap, I'm giving him. I'm very confident in around 12 points per game. Good defense.
Yeah.
Do Paul Millsap things.
My thing is, again, same thing with him. The same kind of thing with Gary. Not the healthy thing, but last year, Paul and Gary were two of the best players at the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. Gary for his defense, Paul for his 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
And Paul was our best 3-point shooter in the regular season. Then the playoffs came. I don't know what the hell happened.
He couldn't hit anything.
These threes were kind of off. It just was gone. Get your 3-point shot back. Get around anywhere from 35 to 40% because that's going to be the main type of shots you're getting. Mm-hmm. You'll still get some post plays here or there, but for the most part, you're just going to be getting open threes.
Hopefully we see less Millsap ISOs because we got a lot of those.
I think those are going to be gone this year. Yeah. Especially with Malone saying we're going to shoot a lot more threes this year. So I think that Millsap's got to be ready. He's got to hit those at a high rate. Mm-hmm. Hopefully upper 30s. I'm expecting just like flat 35-ish. But that's what I need you to get because he was our best 3-point shooter. Again, we know he has it in him. Do it. Just get to that level. Obviously, bring your defense, bring your leadership, all those things. Stay healthy as well because you are getting up there in age. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I think Paul's just like one of those guys. I think he's just always consistently doing what Paul does.
And I feel like he's going to we don't even know if he's going to start, but I feel like he's going to average I think he will. But
I think he will start, but Jermichael could take it.
Jermichael could. But I think he's not going to play that much. But he averages probably like 25 minutes a game.
Yeah, and especially at the beginning of the season, he's not going to play. He's going to be very on a low minute restriction. I would not be shocked. Like, he just came off a huge playoff run. He played a lot of minutes. He's going to be on a minute restriction type thing coming into the season. I mean, Malone even talked about him possibly, putting Jokic and Jamal on kind of a weird minute restriction thing where he wants to have them play enough to where we can win, but he doesn't want to burn them out after what they just went through.
Yeah.
Especially Jamal. Because Jamal played so many minutes.
He really did.
But that's the thing. I wouldn't be surprised if Millsap and Jermichael share about the same type of time.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of the same at this point.
They're very similar players.
Yeah. So
they're kind of similar.
I mean, they both are going to do the same role: play defense, shoot threes. I don't see the role changing from that.
Yeah, that's true.
Just what they are. But now we'll get into MPJ. This is the big one on the starting lineup.
This is the big one.
We're expecting him to start. Mainly also because it seems pretty likely he will, because Will still has not really played in scrimmages or anything.
Will is still not healthy.
So he seems like the clear-cut favorite. Obviously, Malone didn't say that he is, but it's basically MPJ's job to lose. What are your expectations for MPJ this season after his up-and-down year last year?
See, I really want to believe in him. I know he's worked this offseason. I've watched his interviews.
He said he's huge.
He's gotten way bigger. He looks really good in the scrimmage games, and he said in a press conference that he spent a lot of time working on his defense and getting quicker and smarter on defense.
Mankey smarter.
Exactly. Because we all know that he's got the athletic ability to play defense.
He can play defense. He just needs to think.
But I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna say 17 points a game.
He's not bad. He could definitely do that.
I think I could see him doing more than that, and I could also see him doing less than that. But I'm going to say 17. I doubt it will be very efficient, but that's okay. He's 22, 23. We'll see. He's going to show something this year. I think he's going to look like a superstar.
Yeah. I mean, I have really high hopes, but I'm tempering them a little bit. But I really expect a lot from MPJ just because
he's got to be our third best player.
Yeah, like this offseason was your offseason. Our season's basically on him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to put that much pressure on him for being his age, but I think he knows it. I think most of our team knows it.
He is the one that
if we want to be good this year, that's what I'm saying. Not for the future or anything like that. There's no pressure of that. We're going to give him his time.
He's going to get time to develop.
But if we want to be good this year, it's on him.
Yeah.
So I think he knows that.
I also think it is really important for our future that he does become our third best player this season.
Yeah.
I think it's good to start working on getting him integrated into this.
It steps up the process to get us to the point where we want to be in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Like you, I expect him. I have expectations that he's going to be a 15 to 17 point per game scorer. I also have expectations that he's going to contend for MIP.
Yes, me too.
I want him to contend for it. I'm not saying he's going to win it. But I just want him
unlikely he does.
I just want him to contend for that award, be in there, because it's a huge jump if you go from his regular season. He was getting nearish 8-ish, 10-ish points.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a huge jump if he goes from that to 17, especially. If it's 15, then it's not as much.
Yeah.
If he got 17, I'm pretty sure he's going to be very much in the running for it.
Yeah.
Especially because he's going to get a lot of rebounds. He's probably going to be our best 3-point shooter from what I saw in the bubble.
Yeah.
He's very good at shooting threes, even if they're contested. He's probably better at contested threes.
Yeah, so far has looked like it.
And he's going to be shooting a lot of them, and he's going to be, playing a lot of the 3 and the 4, I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. So, especially when he goes to that 4 position, it's going to be mainly to stretch the floor. So I have pretty high expectations of him, but again, he's a very young kid. He's younger than me. He's
gonna look stupid sometimes.
Yeah, he's gonna make mistakes. It's gonna be growing pains. I don't think it's just gonna be immediately off the season. He's just amazing. If it is, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I feel like Jamal last year, it's gonna be flashes here and there, and then maybe in the playoffs he finally gets into a groove. That's what you can hope for. But as long as he just, has a little bit more consistency than Jamal did in his earlier career, and he's also taking not always really bad shots. And he's not just letting people score left and right on him. Obviously, Malone will bench you if you stop playing defense. That's all Malone cares
Yep.
about.
As long as he just tries.
I think that's it. I think he just tries. He started trying in the playoffs and he started getting the minutes. So
Yeah, and he played okay defense.
yeah, it's like we're not going to expect him to guard LeBron and Kawhi, obviously. So we need Jeremy at that point. So
Yeah.
like it's not like he had really any right to be talking about wanting to start at the point.
He is going to be asked to do that in the playoffs this year, I bet.
Yeah, but he said he wants to be the number one guy that people guard. He wants to have the best defender on him, and he wants to guard the best players. He said that. He's saying all the right things.
Now go
Just
do it.
Yeah, just do it. But I expect
believe
him
in
to
him.
do it. I believe him to
100%.
do it. All he does is ball.
He loves basketball.
All he does is play basketball, and I feel like that's a huge key about the best NBA players. They just love basketball.
Yeah.
So I think that's why he's going to be one of the best ones.
That's why Anthony Edwards is going to be a bust.
Most likely. Well, we'll see. I mean, he wants to rap. Everyone wants to rap, you know?
True. He wants to play football. That's what he wants to do.
Hey, man, whatever he wants to do. You know, they're in shambles. Malik be with Larsa Pippen. Malik be doing a lot of things.
Malik might get arrested still. So
Malik might lose his money. So, you know, good. We won that trade.
We won that trade. That's all we'll say.
But yeah, so that's for MPJ. Next one, this was probably the hardest one for me because I'm like, what can he get better at?
Yeah.
Jokic. What do you want from Jokic?
I mean,
He looks more in shape.
He looks more in shape even than he did coming into the bubble.
Yeah,
he's got a little definition on his arms
and his legs.
And his legs.
Nice.
So all I'm expecting from Jokic this year is just a little more bounce, a little more dunking ability because we saw that in practice.
Yeah.
And I think he's long enough; he can get a few more blocks. I'm not expecting much else than that. I'm sure he'll be faster and better on defense, but 24 points, 23 or around there. I'm trying
whatever
to think.
you want. I don't
Doesn't
know.
matter. We all know Jokic is going to be a top 10 MVP
He's going to lead us
candidate
probably
player.
in every statistical
He
category unless Jamal passes him in points.
Yeah, he will lead us in assists and rebounds for sure.
Yeah.
So
And not blocks or steals, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'll lead us in those main three for sure.
and that's what he'll be top 3 in scoring. He'll be top 2 probably,
Yeah.
and he might even be 1. I could see him being 1.
Very possible.
He's going to make an All-Star game. He's going to make All NBA, probably second team because Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I love Nikola Jokic. I have no bad things to say. He looks great. I'm so excited to see how he plays this season.
He'll just get better as he goes, but it's always just gonna be minimal.
He might be a little rusty at first, but he does not look out of shape coming into this season.
Yeah, this is probably the best he's ever come into a season, which is great because usually he comes back and he's fat, but this is the first time he's come back and he's not. So thank God. And yeah, you see those clips. He's running around. He's dunking. He looks bouncy.
Yeah, he looks like he's having fun too.
So that's why my goal for him was something he's never ever done in his career.
Okay.
Not once has he done this. Get more dunks than triple doubles.
Yeah, do that. Get more dunks than triple doubles. You can do that.
That's my only goal for him is get more dunks than triple doubles. It's always a cool stat. People are like, wow, isn't that crazy that he has more triple doubles than he has dunks? And at the same time, I feel like he doesn't like when people bring that up because it's telling people that he's unathletic.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad people did. It looks like he's more athletic now.
That's what I'm saying. I think he took it personally. Yeah. He's like, F you guys. I'm going to do it. So get more dunks than triple doubles. You just have to get probably like 15 dunks.
Yeah.
Not that hard. I think he can do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
It's a very easy task. I think he can do it. If he does that, that's awesome. Good job. Because then it shows he's more athletic and he's more, light on his feet. And that's all you can ask for him at this point because he's good at everything else. There's nothing else we can ask for Nikola Jokic because he's a beautiful, beautiful man.
And we love him.
And we love him very much. But yeah, so those are the starters. Next, we'll get into the recently re-signed or contract extended Monte Morris. What do you expect from Monte Morris? Because this is also a really hard one.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask. What did he do last year? I don't even know what he put up.
That's why I can look it up.
I just know he was just crazy efficient and great as always.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he was in the top 5 for assist turnover ratio because he always is.
Well, yeah, the goal for Monte is just to not turn over the ball like always, and then I'm happy. He averaged 9 points. I'll take anywhere between 9 and 11 points for Monte Morris. I know he's going to be efficient. I know he's going to play pretty good defense. I know he's going to pass well. I love Monte Morris. he's fine. He's going to be
just
fine.
Like he just does his role very well.
He's such a good all-around basketball player. I'm not worried about him.
I guess get more assists. He's at 3.5, but again, like it's hard to get more assists when you got Jokic getting so many. You got Jamal now getting better as a passer.
He is all I want him to do is just shoot what he shot last year. Honestly, 50% from the field and 40% from three. I'll be happy.
The only thing I could have came up with, and this is going to go into kind of our next person, is take that 6-man role. Mm-hmm. Officially take it. Because there was always this weird back and forth where is it Plumlee? Is it Jeremy? Is it you? Yeah. Just immediately go out and take that 6-man role. Be the 6th man. And the reason mainly I say this is because our next person said he didn't want to come off the bench because he feels like he's a starter. And that is Will Barton. What are your expectations for Will Barton knowing that he is healthier? He's still getting back. He hasn't played in practice. He does want this team to win a championship. He's still with the goal, but he did say in his presser that he believes that he's a starting caliber player in this league.
Think he's going to cause a problem if he doesn't start, though.
I don't know at this point. It seems like it's a weird back and forth because back in the bubble, he was cheering on MPJ. Now he's saying that.
I feel like what he's saying is I'm better than Gary Harris is probably what he's saying.
That's just messed up.
But like it doesn't matter. I feel like you have to be realistic in this and say, one, you're not healthy. You haven't played with the team in almost a calendar year now.
Yeah, it's about almost at that point.
And Gary Harris is a better defender than you are. It's just facts. And so if he starts, I'll be a little bummed. If he starts at shooting guard, I'll be like, okay, fine. And I'll hope Gary takes it back because I think Gary should be the starter, and I think that's the best for the team. Yeah. That being said, you kind of alluded to it. I just want him to. He could be one of the best bench players in the league.
Yeah, he definitely could.
He could start on a lot of teams. He started on us.
A lot of our players on the bench could start on a lot of teams.
True.
Mason Plumlee starts. He's getting paid so much money.
He is starting for the Pistons.
Of course, our team is deep, man. Like a lot of players could start. I don't get why. In the playoffs, man, he was tweeting about he'd be fine taking the bench role. Now we're here. I don't get it. Maybe you're right. Maybe he is talking about he wants to start over Gary. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Either way, I'm confident that Will Barton's not going to start. So
my main thing is this. Will, stay healthy. Get back. Get healthy. Don't rush it. Please don't rush it. We don't need you to rush it. Just get 100%. Come back. And then when you come back, please just accept the bench role. Yeah. And if you don't, then we're going to have to trade you.
Yeah, you cannot start. I'm sorry.
Because especially unless MPJ's underperforming or Gary's like massively underperforming.
I disagree. Even if MPJ's underperforming, if he starts, you cannot take that spot away from him.
Well, there you go. So then if you don't take that role, we got to trade you because your contract's not favorable right now anyways.
And
getting $13 million.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
You had a good bounce back season last year.
It's not that we don't like him. Like we liked what he did last year, but it's just like you got to figure out the writing on the wall.
Yeah, it's we're moving past your time here. I'm sorry, it's just facts.
MPJ did. You like MPJ? You're like his vet.
I'm confident that it won't be an issue. If it is, then we'll trade him. That's really what it is.
That's what it comes down to. So hopefully it's not. But if he does accept the bench role, I expect him, like I said with Monte, to be competing for the 6-man spot. And I expect him to be great in the bench role. He was our bench player initially, and he got good to being a starter, and he just goes back to doing what he used to do. And he's gonna probably be with Monte like a starting caliber guard, like point guard, running the offense. Maybe with Facu, maybe not. Who knows? Again, we have so many good players.
Yeah, we do.
It's hard. That's why for some of these guys, we're not going to get to talk to them. But Will Barnes probably the biggest conundrum right now because, again, he's still not healthy. We're not going to see him tomorrow. We're probably not going to see him for the first couple preseason games. I doubt we even see him at the beginning of the season. Because, and to be honest, I would prefer that. I'd rather he just get 100% instead of like rushing it and coming back.
We don't need him.
Yeah, we don't need him. We don't need him, especially for a regular season. So it's not necessary. So just take your time, get healthy, and then, we'll see where to go from there with Will Barton. Will Barton was probably the one I had the biggest issue with, like actually, to come up with ideas for. And then next one, new guy on the team, new addition, JaMychal Green. He's coming from the Clippers. He's always said that we're dogs. That misconception that we're not. He's saying, no, they are. They're dogs. We saw that in the playoffs. That's why I joined this team. They're lit. He keeps saying good things about us.
He really seems happy he's here.
Yeah, if anything, he's the one who keeps shitting on the Clippers like Loki.
He's been saying some shit. It's really funny. I don't really know what to expect from him, to be honest with you.
I mean, there's not much to expect from him except for shoot threes. Well, he's historically a 38% three-point shooter career-wise.
So
that.
Give me 7 or 8 points.
Yeah. My thing is get that and then also be the leader on the defensive end because we did lose basically our leader on the defensive end. I say that with air quotes in Mason Plumlee. We need someone who comes in on a bench unit and is the guy who's talking to everyone. Is the guy who's talking about rotations, the guy who's, covering the bigs, who's switching out, who's kind of bringing in that defensive effort coming off the bench. It's most likely going to be him and Monte, who would be bringing in that defensive effort, that kind of fortitude. It could be Facu too because he's apparently a really good defense if he gets in there. But I think he's just got to be the defensive leader coming in, the veteran defensive guy coming off the bench, and the veteran leader for the bench unit. Because, again, there will be probably a lot of mixtures of starters with bench players and stuff like that. But I feel like for the most part, we know how Malone likes to do his rotations. And it's usually all starters, all bench, all starters, all bench. And I wouldn't be shocked if he went back into doing that during the regular season. So, if that's the case, then just be number one guy on the defense. Take over for most of what Mason and Jeremy kind of did during the regular season. But it's not like you got to ask too much out of JaMychal.
Yeah.
Just get threes, play hard D.
Yep.
That's it. So, and then now not a new guy, but a guy who's doing great apparently in the camp, MVP of the camp to Michael Malone and PJ Dozier. What do you expect from PJ? 'Cause apparently he's balling out.
I mean, so I'm not going to give stats for this one because I don't think it's going to be that significant. But I think he'll look good. I think he'll look like solid. I'm expecting actually his most impressive ability is that he's going to play some good defense this season. I feel good about that. I feel like he could be the guy to replace Torrey Craig as far as defense goes. And added bonus, he's a way better shooter.
He can shoot. He can score.
So I like PJ.
He won't miss a layup against the Jazz.
We're so stacked at point guard. I'm sorry, my Argentinian friends.
We're stacked at guards. We have so many guards. Even forwards, we have a lot of forwards.
Yeah, we do.
Center's the one that we're struggling with.
We're thin.
But, for PJ, I would say, hearing the things I'm hearing, it's very good to hear that he came back and he improved. Miley, like Phil, my expectation for him is to come and replace Torrey's role. Just immediately come and be that gritty guy who defends, the best player when Gary's off the floor. Take that responsibility and then shoot threes, obviously make it. But I think the main thing for him is just you want to be one of the top defenders on our team. He said that. He wants to be that. Do it. I want to see it. He said he wants to guard 1 through 3. I think 3 is a little bit of a stretch.
3 is a stretch.
But if you can guard Donovan Mitchell, if you can guard Steph Curry, if you could guard CJ McCollum, all these guys when Gary's off, great. That'd be awesome. And then you don't have to do it like extremely well. Just do it to the same level that Torrey did it.
Yeah.
But maybe even a little bit better. And then if he does that, then that takes away the loss of Torrey Craig, which, we do love Torrey, but that defensive is an issue. Defensive ability of this team is the biggest question going into the season. For sure. How good are they going to be on defense? And we'll see how that goes. But I expect PJ to be the guy who helps us immensely on the bench with that issues with JaMychal and Monte. I think those 3 are going to be a really good defensive bench unit.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the last guy, the most polarizing guy, I would say. Everyone loves him, even ESPN. It's crazy. He hasn't done anything yet. He's played in 4 preseason games.
Yep.
I love him. We all love him. Bol Bol. What do you expect from Mr.
I just
Bol
want him
Bol?
to get in the rotation. Play well enough so you crack the rotation so I can see you play. And then I will have more to say on Bol Bol. I think he's got talent. I think he's got, obviously, a great NBA body. He's just got to get stronger and stay healthy. Yeah. We'll see what happens. As far as potential goes, the sky is the limit. I don't think he's going to get that to the sky, but I think he could. If he does, well, it's game over. But I think he's going to be fun to watch. I think it's going to be exciting. That's all I really got.
I mean, I love Bol Bol. I will still state that I think that Bol Bol has a higher potential cap than MPJ does.
He has a higher ceiling than MPJ.
I think his ceiling is way higher, but will he ever reach it? We'll see. It depends. But I love Bol Bol. Apparently, he stayed in Denver during the summer, worked out all the time. He has gone bigger, granted, with that type of body and how lean he was. It takes a while to get muscle on him, but he's working on it. He's been working on it a lot. He's also been working on being better defensively because he said publicly, I know that I'm not playing because I'm not as good at defense yet. Granted, he is a great blocker. He gets blocked, but you got to play defense. He did say he prefers to play 4. He doesn't want to play center, but if he has to, he will. Kind of same thing as kind of AD. On that scale, he wants to play 4 or 3. He prefers being a forward because that's just what he's been usually. But we'll see how Malone uses him. I expect Malone to use him kind of more as a stretch 4.
Agreed.
My only goal for him is if he does get minutes and he does crack the rotation and he plays a lot, lead the team in blocks.
Yeah, for sure.
That's your thing. You got to lead the team. I don't even care if you're coming off the bench. Lead the team in blocks. You could definitely.
I don't think it's gonna be that hard.
Yeah, he can get 2 or 3 a game pretty easy. And my other thing is coming off the bench. If you do get a lot of minutes, you better be in the top 5 for blocks in the league.
Yeah,
that's what I want from him. That's the best goal I can get from him. Otherwise, develop, get better. We don't have expectations of him right now.
Yeah, we can take our time with him still. So
yeah, I mean, he has nowhere near the pressure. Well, I don't even want to say pressure, but the expectations that MPJ has right now, and that's mainly because again, he hasn't actually played a real NBA game.
There's a lot of question marks surrounding Bol.
Yeah, except for garbage minutes, he hasn't played a real NBA game. I'm expecting him to this year because apparently he's been busting people's asses in practice because he gets buckets. That's what he does. He knows how to score because he's so fucking tall. And he can shoot threes. But we'll see. I'm hoping he cracks the rotation. He's in competition with Isaiah and probably Greg Winton. I don't know. Again, we have so many good players.
We do. I can't even figure out who I think is going to make the rotation. I think the guys we've talked about will make it, but I'm not even sure if I don't know if Bol's going to make it.
This preseason's huge. It's a huge preseason because it actually matters for the rotation. I think this is the first time in a long time where it actually mattered. Well, and always said it mattered, but again, I think he was just saying that to say that.
We got to see how people mesh and everything.
But it's huge. The only ones that aren't obviously they're friendly competitions for the starting spots. The only people who apparently they don't care, they're fine with starting, they're kind of coming off the bench is Paul and JaMychal. They both are
whatever.
We just love playing. We love.
I guess
team.
And Monte too.
Yeah, I mean Monte obviously accepted his role very clearly, and Jamal has been confirmed to be the number 1 guy for that. But yeah, I mean everywhere else there's these pseudo competitions. We'll see how it goes. I don't expect the lineup that starts tomorrow in that Golden State game to be our starting lineup. It might be, it might not be. It just kind of depends.
We'll see.
And then we'll see how the rotation goes. We'll see the guys we didn't talk about. But how do you expect that kind of Golden State game to go for at least the starters at the beginning?
I just want them to honestly, I don't really care how it goes, but I just want them to shake off some rust if there is any.
That's the thing. It's is there going to be rust? Is there not going to be?
I have no idea.
It's a weird start to the season.
If anything, I want them to, play the first quarter and then put in everybody else. They might need some rest still, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm expecting Jamal and Jokic not to really play that much.
Yeah.
They'll probably play
I expect pretty much every
part of the first quarter.
Yeah.
And maybe that's it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they'll play any more than that. At least those two. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see because this is, like I said, it's the first year we had change.
Faku's going to get a lot of minutes. PJ's going to get a lot of minutes.
Whittington,
Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yeah. I think those are the main ones.
Probably Bol.
Yeah, Bol is going to get a lot of minutes. So if you want to see Bol and MPJ, these are the games to watch, especially Bol.
Najee probably.
Najee, Hampton, they might get minutes. We forgot about those two as well because they're still not in the G League yet.
Yeah.
So they might be traveling with a team. They might play. Depending on if they're following.
Is Whittington even going to be with us, or is he going to be in the G League?
We don't know yet.
Because he's on a 2-way deal.
Yeah, I mean, he's with the team right now. They're all with the team right now.
Yeah, even Marcus Howard is.
Yeah, so they're all with the team.
They'll probably play preseason, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so I'm expecting just to see more of those guys. We're probably going to see barely any of Jamal.
Yeah, I feel like we just listed off everybody. I feel like we're missing somebody.
We might be. I don't think anyone that we think is going to start.
No.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
But, I mean, there's obviously guys we'll miss. But, yeah, it'll be fun to watch the preseason games. So we play them, then we play the Blazers, and then we play the Blazers again because we always play the Blazers twice. I will never understand why. So we'll do that. And then the regular season starts. We play the Kings. We'll come back before that to talk about our season predictions, where we see teams to end up in standings, who we expect to win the awards for the year. And then the season starts, and that's probably when we'll get actually back into weekly podcasts again. Because then we have more stuff to talk about. Yeah. But yeah, I hope everyone's excited for the season. I hope everyone's staying safe. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
Go Nuggets.